Alrighty, what is up, everyone? My name's Indo, and today we're gonna do a tier list for the jungle. 1.0 has been out now for a few weeks, so I feel like I've gotten a good understanding of where the meta sits at the moment. If you guys like this content, please think about giving me a sub here on YouTube and follow me on Twitch. I stream almost every day. And if you have any questions about jungling or anything like that, just pop in and give me an ask. I also would appreciate a follow on Twitch. That supports me a lot. Thank you. Thank you. And let's get right into this. So, for my boy Rampage, I think he's clearly one of the biggest winners of this patch. Not that he was even doing too terrible last patch, but I think the slight buffs to Titan Crest and some of the little tank item changes really have made this hero super strong. So for a bannable character, S tier, I would throw Rampage up there. The higher you go in the matchmaking, the more likely you're going to see this hero banned. He can carry, his clear is pretty good, and he is just super tanky for how much damage that he can actually put out. So if you have a solid team that pumps out damage, this guy is a pick or a ban option. And then next, we're going to move on to Chimera. So last season, I would have put him, or last patch cycle, I would have put him at S tier. But I think with those nerfs, he's fallen down just a little bit. Still think he is one of the best junglers in the game and overall a great pick, especially if you're trying to pump out more damage while still being a pretty good frontliner. So we'll put Chimera in just the strong category. Never a bad option. Great beginner jungler. Pretty solid there. So Fang Mao. This one is kind of... I could put him either way. I think he's almost like an A+. So in the right hands, I would say Fang Mao is probably an S this patch. He scales really well, does a shit ton of damage. You can hard carry a game. But this guide is going to be more of your overall guide, not necessarily just for ranked, but kind of, I would say, more for your average player, not necessarily top 1%. So for your average player, I would probably just put him in the strong category. In the right hands, though, definitely could be S, but we'll just throw him down in here. I don't know if he's, you could ban him, but I think there might be better ban options. I would suggest going a lot of characters with CC, locking him down, and just blowing him up. That's the real way that you counter Fang Mao, is by just locking him down. So, on the next pick, Severog. So this guy went from being like all the way down here last pass cycle to now, I think, one of the best offlaners in the entire game. Can literally run an entire lobby, be unkillable, and a beast. But for jungle, part of me wants to put him in S, but just purely by the fact where if you're going against, if your lanes are struggling and you're getting invaded a lot, that's kind of the biggest weakness of Severog. If you're able to scale, you can just dominate a lobby. But because the fact that he gets punished so hard by getting your jungle stolen, I might dock him down just 1 into strong. And next, we have Terra, which last season 100% was an S. Now I'm just going to drop her down into the strong category. I think she's somewhere in between average and strong. She's a good pick into certain heroes. I do like her into Rampage. That true damage, you can cut through tanks pretty well. Also, just scales really well if you do get a lead. She can still be a menace. So we'll put her in the strong category. Then next, we have Zarus. So again, Zarus, I think he's somewhere in between. He's not as good as he was last patch, but honestly, because he's just a great hero to ban as well, I think I'm still going to throw him in the S for bannable. he's definitely feels a little bit weaker than he was, but still can hard carry a game. Still has great setup and synergy with other heroes. Still think this is a worthy ban of a hero, so we'll throw him in the S as well. Aurora was very strong last patch. I think has gone down a tiny bit. She might be somewhere in between here, but I think with the right team, with setup comp, she's still very strong. I mean, honestly, people are still banning her, but I think we'll just put her down here in strong for now. Definitely not a terrible ban hero, but generally I'd probably rather ban a Rampage or a Zarus, so we'll throw her just right under. Next character, we have Kwong. So Kwong, I think he's just average. I mean, he's not terrible. His clear speed is pretty rough and slow in the beginning when you're jungling, but as you scale, it gets a lot better. I think if you're a good Quang player that can land consistent tethers, you can absolutely still make him work. Also, a good option if you need more magic damage. Not a bad hero at all, but I would say that he's just pretty average. Grux. So Grux could make the argument that he's in strong, but I'm going to throw him in average because Grux has great wave clear. He can do scale really well, do a lot of damage, but he has two kind of weaknesses, in my opinion, in the jungle. And one of those is that he is kind of squishy compared to some of these other guys like Chimera or Rampage or Terra. So he struggles into heavy CC comps, but overall, still very good. Still has insane wave clear. Still can scale really hard. If you run movement speed items, I highly suggest that for the jungle. Still a great pick, especially if you're very good with him. But gap closing can be pretty difficult. So again, movement speed items do very well on this hero. So Sereth. Sereth, I still think can be very strong. You can still scale. You can still dominate your lobbies, but I think she's gone down just a little bit. I don't know where we would put her. I think I'm going to put her at the top of situational. She is still able to carry lanes, still able to carry games, still just can be a monster overall as a character, but I think I might throw her in situational because you got to be really good with her, A. And B, the reason why I would throw her in situational is I don't like picking her unless I have good frontliners on my team already. Like if I have a good tank, like a Sevarog offlane, maybe I'll throw her in, or I have a Bruiser offlane and then a tank support, and then maybe I'll throw her. But just not as dominant as she has been, I think, currently. I haven't been seeing her as much. So we'll put her in situational. Situational doesn't mean they're bad. I just think this is more of if you're a good character with a specific team comp, or you're a good player with a specific team comp, you can still make it work. And then we take Countess. So Countess, in the right hands, absolutely can be strong. Often I would say she's average or weak in the wrong hands, but we'll throw her in situational. I think if you're really good with this hero, again, she scales crazy, wave clears crazy, so in the right hands, she can be strong, but we'll throw her in situational as well. And then for the weak category, we're going to throw Steel down there. I know he's not a traditional jungler, but I know some people like to do it. His wave clear is just ass. I mean, in my opinion, there's no reason to run Steel over Rampage or even Sevarog. I think he's just weak. This is one of the few characters that I probably just wouldn't even pick. Crunch. We're going to put him in average. Again, in the right hands, Crunch could definitely be strong. I think he just kind of similar to Grux. He suffers from getting countered by heavy CC. He's pretty squishy, and he kind of falls off late game. So early game, dominant hero. If you get a lead with him, you can just win a game very early. But because of those kind of big weaknesses, I'm just going to put him in average. Not not too crazy. Same thing with Greystone. You scale, can be very strong. Definitely not a bad jungler. Wave clear, very good. You get ahead, almost unkillable. But I'm gonna throw him in average just because he doesn't really bring any special like utility or anything to the table. Like for instance, Terra in comparison has pretty good wave clear in comparison to him. They're, I would say, roughly the same. Maybe he's a little bit better at wave clear, but she has stun, a root, a get out of CC. She just has way more utility. So because of that reason, his lack of kind of utility and usefulness, besides just being unkillable and diving your backline, I'm going to put him in average. All right, Kalari. We're going to throw, you can see all the assassins I'm putting in situational because honestly, all three of these characters, it really depends on how good you are and kind of what team comp you're running with. I don't tend to like when assassins pick or someone picks assassin as a jungler when you don't have a good frontline options for your supporter or off lane. So that's why we're going to throw her into situational as well. If you're good with Clara, you can make it work. But for your average player, I would say maybe not the easiest pick. And then Richter. So I'm tempted to throw him in weak. I think he might be towards the top of the week. I don't think he's completely unplayable. I think he's definitely better than Steel. If you land hooks, you can still get crazy value out of him. But his wave clear is just not as good as some of the other junglers. So you can tend to fall behind if you're not getting good ganks with your hooks. But I would say he's somewhere in between here. But at the moment, I might just throw him in weak because I think purely just because of the wave clear. But definitely somewhere in between. You can still make Richter work. I don't think he's a throw pick by any means, but definitely not as good as he was in the past. Shimby, we'll throw her in situational. The only reason I'm not throwing her in weak is because her wave clear is actually insane. I'm not sure to date, but I think she might still have the fastest wave clear out of any jungle option. Her issue is that she doesn't provide any CC or lockdown or anything like that. So really what's going to make you successful on this hero is just by getting a crazy farm lead and then just running people down and ulting them. So definitely can make it work. Going to throw her in situational because she doesn't really have a lot of utility to bring to the table, but still can be a very strong hero. Yeah, and that pretty much does it for the junglers. This is looking pretty solid. Let me know if you guys have any questions or you guys just want to, spread your own opinions or whatever in the comments down below. I do appreciate all the support. Big shout out to everyone following me on Twitch and subbing to me on here on YouTube. I hit 400 plus followers on both. So I just really appreciate it, and it makes me want to keep, creating content and doing this stuff for you guys. So thank you. I'll catch you guys later. Come by Twitch and say what's up to me. Peace.